I'm in Goff's Coppice in Stretton in Shropshire, in a borrowed hat because I've misplaced mine for the time being. I've probably left it in some coffee shop or other in the past 48 hours, I think. It's a very lovely, the light's fading now, but it's a very lovely, crisp, crunchy. You can hear. There you go. You can hear the crunchy frost underfoot. Absolutely love it. What am I doing here on this beautifully cold December winter's afternoon? Dusk almost now. Well, good question. When I drove back from the Wye Valley with my brother and sister a month ago for a family birthday, we stopped off here at my request. Its nickname of Church Stretton is Little Switzerland, and as we passed through in the car on the way down, I thought how much like Little Austria it looked like. I've only driven through Austria once, but it sort of flooded back, and I just said to my brother and sister, I'd like to come and stay here and see what it's like. It's absolutely lovely. Very active little community with it's only a small town, but it's got 120 voluntary organisations, so take your pick. There's a notice board on the edge of town with A4 posters and a large billboard, and it's absolutely full of activities. Never a dull moment in Church Stretton. And I've come to Church Stretton to go to church, which sounds strange even to me, as I have chosen to give churches a wide berth, to be honest. Since St Thomas's in the 90s, I didn't fall out. I just went on a journey of discovery of, it was the natural mystic in me. And so here I am, back thinking of going to, yes, an Anglican church, a bit like St Thomas's in Sheffield, very lively in the 70s. Happy clappy, you might say. I played bass in the band in those days. And they've got a very lively congregation with hand-worked banners. All the sayings of Jesus: I am the light of the world, I am the bread of life, I am the gate, I am the door. I thought I would just come back and remind myself of what an evangelical church was like in the depth of winter. Why not? So I'm staying in a shepherd hut, and it's lovely and cozy, of course, because I live in a tiny house. I am as snug as a bug in a shepherd hut. It's got a lovely thick duvet, and it's got a heater and a kitchen and shower. Remarkable, really. So very cozy, with a fabulous view over what I have called, I have discovered is called the Long Mind, M-Y-N-D, which is, I guess, an old English or Welsh word. This part of the world started off, believe it or not, and I find it difficult to believe, as the South Pole about 530 million years ago. Well, if you were a tectonic plate moving at, they tell me, 3 centimetres a year, after a few million years, you'd go through the tropics, from the South Pole through the tropics. Next stop, Church Stretton, Shropshire. Well, you always wear Church Stretton, but you just didn't know it. Oh dear. And on the wall in the shepherd hut, there's a very apt, my brother would say anyway, a very apt You know, they're all the rage these days, all sorts of sayings you get on walls. Home is where the heart is and all that. Well, this one says, all who wander are not necessarily lost. And my brother Rob, bless him, has always had a sort of elderly brother care for me, because with my mystical wanderings, he's absolutely sure I'm lost. Oh dear. The X marks the spot keeps moving, he must think. Well, let me tell you, Rob, and anybody else who thinks that to wander means you're lost, I disagree. Because, frankly, if you don't think you're lost, you're lost. If you don't think this world that we inhabit with our conditioning and our in the West now are very secular and also it's becoming very authoritarian society. If you don't realise how lost you are, you're lost. So in my tiny house and writing my book on the mystery of consciousness, I'd say I'm found, not lost. But that's, of course, what I would say, isn't it? I'm going to find a nice warm pub with a log fire now and watch the footy if I can. By the way, I'm actually going to 2 services tomorrow. In the morning, though, at St Michael's, just up the road in the valley, by the carding mill valley, where Arkwright, who invented the carding machine, had a mill. I'm going to explore that tomorrow. And St Michael's at 10:30 in the morning, there's an Iona service. Now, if you don't know what an Iona service is, it sort of pays respects to the Celtic spiritual tradition. Of course, Iona being in Scotland. I think, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, I think Iona was the first landfall of St Cuthbert from Ireland when he went eastwards spreading the message. And I once actually made up, this is true, I actually made up a board game with an antique map of that part of Scotland from Iona, and made characters or little players for St Cuthbert and King Iowad, or whatever his name was, in the 8th century, and gave it to my elder brother as a present. And I don't think we ever played it. It had rules and everything. Ah dear. Rob, we must dig that one out and see if it's playable. But an Iona service is much more contemplative. It won't have modern guitar and drums music like the Advent service at St Lawrence. I think it'll be much more. I'm sure we'll sing a hymn or two, but I'm hoping there'll be some time for reflection and quiet and just silence, really, in the morning. There are 3 Anglican churches within a stone's throw of each other here in Church Stretton. The sort of the larger one with the modern services is called St Lawrence, and I'm going there tomorrow evening. I think there's an Advent service because this is the season of Advent. I shall let you know how we get on.